With Bruins play-by-play man Jack Edwards from Nesson and one game here in St. Louis in the book, I was a bit surprised. I thought the Blues would come out and really seize the momentum of the home crowd. What's your biggest takeaway from Game 3?
The penalty kill at 1:02 of the first period, when Jake DeBrusk went to the box for a kneeing penalty. That was an early turning point, and it, in fact, became the pivotal point of the game. Lost in all that glory of 4 power play goals for the Bruins and their excellent 5-on-5 play. If they don't kill that penalty, the roof gets blown off this place, and it could be a completely different feeling series right now.
Absolutely agree. Now, as you look at how the guys have reacted before Game 3, they just seemed to be steady and smooth and had full confidence that the guys who'd been taking the most criticism, the first line, would step up. And I guess it's because they've been doing it all year.
Yeah, and it's funny how sometimes morning skates are indicative of the way a team's going to play or the way a team feels, and sometimes they're irrelevant. But before Game 3, I think it applied. St. Louis came out and their morning skate was really intense and high compete level and battling each other for pucks, and they seemed a little bit on edge. Perhaps that was a residual effect of the energy in this city. The Bruins were loose and happy, and Bruce Cassidy was joking at his pregame press conference, and they came out and they just played.
And everything he pointed out in his pregame press conference came to fruition. He talked about the fact that for his first line to get loose, typically they do it on the power play. Now, Berge scored before they got a power play goal, but that seemed to be true last night. They took advantage of the power play, and that did get the guys loose.
Yeah, absolutely. And remember that power plays usually are a result of superior 5-on-5 play. The Bruins had tighter formations coming out of the defensive zone. They supported the puck really, really well. They had among the best layers they've had all playoffs defensively. There was always another man to beat before he got the shot. And if they can continue to play that way, I don't know if St. Louis has a solution.
Now, would you categorize St. Louis in the desperate category yet? I mean, they win this Game 4. It does go back to Boston 2-2, so they're right back in it. It's a best of 3. So where would you categorize them?
I would say that the Blues have brought a desperate mentality both to Games 2 and Game 3, but I'm not sure that the Blues have a different method of winning. And that is the hidden secret, not so secret anymore, about the Bruins having had to find so many different ways to win over the course of this season and in this playoff run with different personnel. I don't know if St. Louis has that adaptability. Their plan A could still win this series, especially if they take Torrey Krug's head off the way they did Matt Grzelcyk's. But if the Bruins continue to play and just play, they'll be fine.
All right, just because I want to get you fired up, because it's fun when you're fired up, it happened again with Perron the other night. Right? How does he get away with that behind the play with a ref trailing, looking at him 10 feet away, and he's slamming somebody's head into the ice? How does it happen?
Well, Bruins fans know I have no deep affection for Steve Kazari, who has at least one head-scratching moment every single game he referees, and the number has been going up in the playoffs. I don't know how that's not a penalty. I don't know how his interference, obvious interference with Rask and entering the crease by his own volition, is not penalized. And I get a kick out of Craig Berube, the former NHL tough guy, whining about the officiating and putting the Bruins on the power play so many times. But, you know, that's the off day in the Stanley Cup final. You got to complain about something. Why not the refs?
Last topic, because we'd be remiss not to discuss the success Torrey Krug had last night. A goal, he assists on 3 others. I mean, the kid is 5'9", and he's getting it done at the highest level. And he consistently has people doubting him, but he's beyond that in my book now.
I keep going back to the Jeff Blashill story, the head coach of the Detroit Red Wings, who was coaching in the USHL, and Torrey Krug tried out for the team in Indiana, and the club owner didn't want Krug on the final cut. And Blashill says, I got to have this guy on my team. And, of course, they went on to win the championship in the USHL that year. Krug goes on to Michigan State and wins glory there. And the head coach...
I don't like talking about that, by the way, because it was against BC.
Yeah,
by
well,
the way.
sorry.
But continue.
But the Michigan State coach, Tom Anastas, said upon Krug departing for the Boston Bruins and promptly starting to beat Henrik Lundqvist with shots from the blue line during the playoffs. And Estes said, give me 20 of those guys, and I'll give you a championship every single year. And Krug might be 2 wins away from the ultimate championship.
Whether it's 2 games or more, you can always watch Jack and the rest of the NESN crew. They're on before each game. It's either on NESN or NESN Plus. They're on during the intermissions on their Facebook page. And, of course, after the game on NESN with the full post-game coverage. Thanks, as always, for joining us.
You're good at that.
I can promo when I need to promo.